Um, yeah, no, it's pretty good. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. I want it to be a little bit more finesse, kind of on the edges. Like right now, I've kind of got e e e e e, and I want it to be like this. E, 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 e. It's still not airy. You notice it's kind of on this sound. Can you go like this? And me go e. Yeah, it's very gentle. See, and right now the chords kind of close, but they don't quite finesse quite enough to get to this sound as we'd like. Now, this particular sound, if there's not enough precision in the closure, as we go up higher, it can feel very hard to release anymore because the chords aren't able to get right on the edges. Whereas we go, like I feel literally this. Oh, 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 oh. Do that for me, go. Oh, 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 oh. Yeah. Now see if you can find it even gentler. Go. Hey. Yeah, even gentler. Have a listen to it. Go. Hey. Go. Hello. How are you?
Hello, how are you?
This was
E,
better.
e.
Do that again.
Hello, how are you?
Now go. E e e.
E, e, e.
This is better. Now that type of closure is kind of it's kind of subtle, but you felt some of it there. And it's different. It's different to what you had a few seconds ago, which was a little bit more kind of clumsy. This is gentle and finessed, and very much. It's like. What did I think I was. I don't know if I was talking to you, but comparing it to handwriting, like it really feels like it's a very finessed movement. It's not clumsy or kind of e. It's like e. Hello. Do that.
E, e, e. Hello.
Yeah, the hello was better. Hello, e.
E, e, e. Hello.
Good. Now I feel that contact you're feeling there in this scale. Whilst I adjust the pitch, I'm able to find that contact on the chords. When I say contact, I mean the feeling that you feel as those chords press together gently. I'm finding exactly that sensation on all the pitches. Just to make you aware. And if you need a reference, you can start it by going, hello. See if you can finesse through that.
E, hello. E, 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 e.
It's pretty good, but you notice at the top you've had that hiss coming in. I'm exaggerating it, but the chords came apart a little bit. So
Mm-hmm.
that right there we can do work. We can see like, can we get that one scale to not get looser at the top and find that finessed little bit of bite, that same contact right through the top.
Hello. E, 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 e.
Yeah, that top note was perfect. There's a tiny bit heavy on the bottom, but the top was great. Hello.
Hello. E, 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 e.
Very good. Now that little what you're doing there is perfect. We just have to take that up. But just keep in mind, like it's delicate what you're doing there. Yeah, and you've got to maintain that delicacy right the way through. Hello.
Hello. E, 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 e.
Good. That was pretty good. Now, when the sound disappears for a second like that, it can be a good sign. It means the coordination's very efficient. Hello.
Hello. E, hello. I didn't get up there.
Hello. It's okay. Let's do the next one. Hello.
Hello.
Good. Now, as we get up higher, I want you to trust the vocal cords. At some point, you have to make the choice to trust the coordination. Even if it fails or it succeeds, you have to make the choice to trust what you're doing and see if it works. Part of the problem with people that learn this is the reason they hold on is because of that uncertainty that they don't like. But unfortunately, when they hold on, it inhibits them from learning to make that uncertainty predictable. So you always try and make the choice. I'm going to trust the coordination. I'm going to trust what I'm doing, and if it goes wrong, I just try again. But if I lose trust and I start to push and grab, it's not going to work, and it's just going to stop me from learning. Hello.
Hello.
Very nice. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Do that one again for me. I don't want any gap between the mid and the high note, because it allows you time to reset and kind of try and hit it. Yeah, just hello.
Hello.
Very nice. Hello. Now I don't want you to have that in yours, but mine just went wrong. So
Hello.
good. Now that wobble is not a bad thing. That was pretty released. There's a little smidge of closure at the top, but you'll find that the more vulnerable you allow it to be, especially if you're used to holding on or pushing a tool, you'll find that it will wobble at first and will feel a bit unpredictable, because it's like all of a sudden, like it feels like taking the stabilizers off the bike that you didn't even know you had stabilizers on. Hello, hello.
Hello.
It's mostly there. You know, a bit of hiss at the top. Chords coming apart a smidge. Try not to let that happen.
Hello.
It's better. And again, you notice the sound kind of disappeared for a second. It's not a bad thing. It means the coordination was more precise. I usually find when that happens, I'm going more towards a better coordination than when it doesn't. Hello.
Hello.
Try not to push through at all on that top note. Keep it right in the same spot as all the others. Just let it thin out and look for that little tiny bit of bite.
Hello.
It's better. It's releasing more. So, one thing I just want to highlight is, notice right here the difference between it releasing really perfectly and when it just lightens up a smidge or changes a smidge is like very small. Yeah, these are the types of differences that I'm noticing when I vocalize and go through my range, and it goes better or worse. I'm noticing very small differences, like that one, like it just kind of lightened a smidge, it just changed a little bit, or it got a little bit louder, or all those little things. The more disciplined you can be with them, your voice is going to become more under your control. But usually with singers is they don't have any discipline through there to see, can I get through here in a controlled way. and just start paying attention. Let's try this one. Hello. And I'm trying to release up there as well as we do this.
Hello. E, 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 e.
Yeah, it's
I'm
okay.
lower. I didn't hit that.
That's right. Bring the volume down. Find the gentle contact. The more you bring the volume down and find the little bit of contact, you'll find that it gets easier and easier to release. Basically, the lower the volume, the more it's going to release easily for you. As soon as the volume creeps up, you'll find it gets heavier. So just keep it down, find that edginess, and see what happens.
Hello. E, 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 e.
Hello.
Hello.
Is what it is. So it's quite good right now because I've done a fair amount of singing today and I'm trying to find that release as well. So you can see, like, it doesn't just work for me. Like, yeah, often when I sing, I can release however I like, but I have to find it still, and I bet you're basically searching all the time. It's not like one day, like, you can just do anything you want with your voice. Like, it's this constant, never-ending process of searching to find your release and your voice. And this is a good example. We're trying to find it together. You try.
Can you give me a starting note again? Hello.
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 Yeah. You can tell on your face it's pretty blank. The volume stay pretty consistent. The chords you're finding where to bite. This is pretty released. It's good. And here, hello. And I'm having to kind of fudge my way through there to find it. It's not necessarily a bad thing. As long as you don't need to execute the scale perfectly, you can kind of clutter it up a little bit. And I find, for me, when I find that bit of stoppage helps me massively to get through there when I'm struggling. So I will fudge the scale a little bit just to keep the coordination. I just did it then to get the coordination correct. And that's a good example of it's a good example of function first. I'm not necessarily concerned about it sounding good. I'm just concerned about feeling the right sensation and getting the coordination through there. Even if I fudge it a bit and it kind of has to clunk in and do whatever it does, I got there to the right coordination. Or I hit it flat. A few of those before, it was flat a couple of times, and then I got there. But I gave myself that opportunity to flounder and fall and find it. You have to give yourself all of that space to make mistakes, even no matter how long you've been doing it. Let's do one here. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Now that there, where it's doing this, it's a good sign. We go. Where were we at? It kind of clunked up even higher in pitch. Yeah, it means you're in a good spot when that starts to happen. Yeah. So there's right there. We've got a lot of release established just on a simple exercise. Now, we're not necessarily assume that you're going to find that release on other sounds, but right there you've got a good amount of release. You're coordinating because your face is telling a much better story than it has been before. On other days when we've worked, and there's been a lot of this stuff going on. Let's come down. Hello.
Hello. Hello. Mama.
And let's do this. Let's do woo. Hello.
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 Good. Hello.
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 Yeah. Right here we're finding hello. We've right let it right down into chest, even though we've got a light attack. Hello. If I was talking to you, it would be here. It would sound like this if I was talking to you in that range without the closure here. You can practice in chest. You know, everyone's used to talking like this, but you can actually practice talking without much closure. It will sound a little bit funny, but it's very light and it sounds kind of heady. That's where I'm going when I come down from that heady sound. I'm going down all the way into chest, but it's this type of feeling that I'm going to, rather than this. And you can come down like, you know, you know, you can thicken up that if you want to as you come down, but for a lot of people at first it will just clunk for them, so they've got to find, like, how do I just connect this to the bottom in a way that makes sense. And if you notice, when I have when I'm talking to you or engaging this light closure, it's actually the same closure. It's the same light closure that I've got at the top. This would be like ma 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 would be heavier all the way through. So the reason they link up is because the arytenoids work the same amount. If I go na 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 na, or if I go mum 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 mum, I'm finding the same arytenoid action on both those notes. The closure is the same. Yeah. It just so happens that chest tends to angle people towards closure and a certain type of quality, and head tends to send people away from closure. But that doesn't necessarily need to be the case. As we learn to master what we're doing, we actually counteract that as much as we can, to where really I don't even think of in terms of chest and head. I think in terms of closure and release, what we just found. Once you think like that, you'll connect every time. Connection is so easy if you think about the voice in this way. In fact, it's almost ludicrously easy, and that's why people miss it, because it's in one sense, connecting the voice is the easiest thing you can do. Breaking is actually, you have to kind of learn. You have to learn to have a break, is the way I've described it before. Now, the way I talk about this, natural singers are not going to be able to explain it, but they are focusing on the stuff that I talk about. That's the only thing that the mind can latch onto to master the voice. To really master it, like, like professional level singers. Everything else is a sideshow, really. All the stuff about breathing and standing, well, let's leave breathing for another debate, but, posture and, and making sure that, you shape everything correctly and all this stuff, raise the soft palate, like, all of that stuff is a sideshow. Without the stuff that we cover here, then you won't make it. You won't get to professional level singing. Just to give you some random waffling there, but so what we're doing then, the exercise, right? You were miles more finessed than I've heard you before, right there. Yeah, your face was calm. You were exploring in the right way. Your mindset was just like mine. I felt no resistance. See, I can tell. I know when students are cheating me and they're not where I am, because I feel that resistance. I feel that there's not an even match between my brain and your brain. Like there's different things going on. When there is a match, I don't feel that resistance. So part of the job of a coach is basically we become one person. And when we're not one person, then there's a problem. Because you're trying to drag me off to make singing hard, and I'm like, I'm not going back there, dude. You're either coming with me to where it's easy, or we're not going anywhere. So a lot of the time, it's a question of like will, like who's mentally the strongest, whose reality, singing reality in this case, is going to hold true. And my singing reality is much stronger than most people's because I've done this for so long. And I had to come up the hard way, and I struggled a lot when I started. But I felt no resistance there, and I've felt a lot of resistance before when I've been working, where I felt like, it's kind of okay, it's in the right direction, but it doesn't match what I really want. Whereas that was like just everything you were doing. I was like, this dude's calm, and he's just doing what he's doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
The most important part of singing right there is in a lot of ways. And you noticed immediately you started to release, and it felt, like no big deal really.